Hansi Flick's Barcelona is tearing its rivals apart with a monstrous attacking force. There's no other way to describe what Hansi Flick's Barcelona is achieving. The numbers speak for themselves, and every opponent has felt the wrath of the Blaugrana storm. To begin with, the humble Barbastro experienced the power of the new Barcelona, conceding 4 unanswered goals. Then Real Madrid suffered a historic humiliation, 9 goals in 2 matches. 9, and the most shocking part, 5 of them came in a final. Real Betis also couldn't withstand the Blaugrana onslaught and conceded 5 goals. But if we're talking about victims, we have to mention Valencia, who conceded 12 goals in just 2 encounters. Sevilla tried to resist but ultimately crumbled, suffering a 4-0 defeat. Real Sociedad was also unable to escape the carnage, conceding 4 goals. And then there's Benfica, a club that had once been a nightmare for Barcelona in European competition, but this time they had no escape. Across 3 encounters, the Portuguese side conceded 9 goals to Flick's Barcelona and are now out of the Champions League.
Ahora el toque que vino para Rafinha, se acomodó, golazo.
Hansi Flick's ultimate redemption flick is experiencing his great revenge. He became the only coach in German national team history to be sacked, but his response has been emphatic. In his first season with Barcelona, he has already won a title, 1 out of 1 possible. But this is far from over. La Liga leader with a game in hand, Copa del Rey semi-finalist, Champions League quarter-finalist. A resurgence like no other Flick's Barcelona has returned, with a brutal attacking identity, relentless pressing, and total football reminiscent of the club's golden days. And listen closely to this. Sooner or later, the comparisons between Guardiola's Barcelona and Flick's Barcelona will begin. The real question is, how far can this machine go? This Barcelona is defined by its goals. Hansi Flick's Barcelona has unleashed an offensive storm, putting them on track to break historical records. So far, the Blaugrana have scored 128 goals in 42 matches, averaging 3 goals per game. These numbers not only fuel their ambitions across all competitions, but also bring them closer to the best goal-scoring record of any European club this century. Barcelona's 190-goal season in 2011 to 2012 under Pep Guardiola, powered by a monstrous 73-goal campaign from Lionel Messi. That season, the team reached 100 goals in just 31 games. Under Flick, Barca did it in 32 matches, nearly matching one of the greatest teams in football history. But the most remarkable part, they're doing it without Messi, proving that this squad has forged its own offensive identity. Before they can challenge that record, another milestone looms: the 13 matches with 5 or more goals recorded by Luis Enrique's 2014 to 2015 treble-winning Barcelona, led by the iconic Messi, Suarez, Neymar trio. Flick's side has already hit that mark 11 times, and if we count games with 4 or more goals, the tally jumps to 18. A deadly trident. Barca's goal count isn't just about the sheer numbers, it's about who is scoring them. This season, 19 different players have found the net, but 3 names stand out above the rest: Robert Lewandowski, Rafinha, and Lamine Yamal. Together, they've combined for 73 goals, more than half of the team's total. Lewandowski, La Liga's top scorer and a goal machine. At 36 years old, Robert Lewandowski continues to defy time. In his last league match against Real Sociedad, the Polish striker scored his 34th goal of the season, surpassing the 33 goals he netted in his first Barca campaign, 2022 to 2023. With 21 goals in La Liga, he remains the top scorer, ahead of Kylian Mbappe. But what's even more impressive is that his scoring average, 0.89 goals per game, is approaching the peak seasons of his Bayern Munich career. Under Flick's management in Germany, Lewandowski hit 55 goals in 47 matches, 1.17 goals per game in 2019 to 2020, and 48 goals in 40 matches, 1.2 goals per game in 2020 to 2021. Now, his goal resurgence at Barcelona bears the same signature: Hansi Flick. Rafinha, the man for big games. If Lewandowski is the goal-scoring machine, Rafinha is the man who delivers in the biggest moments. The Brazilian is enjoying his best season in Europe, racking up 27 goals and 18 assists in 40 matches. But beyond the numbers, Rafinha is carving his name into Champions League history. With his brace against Benfica...
¡Uy! ¡Gol! ¡Gol! ¿Qué ha pasado? ¡Gol! ¿Qué ha pasado? ¡Cántalo, querido! ¡Cántalo! Rafinha que recorta. ¡Vamos, Rafa! ¡Gol!
he became the top-scoring Brazilian in UEFA Champions League history with 11 goals, surpassing legends like Neymar, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo Nazario, Kaká, and Vinicius. He equalled Ronaldo Nazario's 47-goal tally in European competitions. He scored in 2 El Clásicos against Real Madrid.
Here is, oh brilliant, Rafinha! Going for a 5th goal, Rafinha. A fantastic 5th for Barcelona!
He netted a hat-trick against Bayern Munich.
Achica Neuer! Goal! Rafinha!
In the Champions League round of 16, he was crucial with 3 goals across the 2-legged tie against Benfica.
Ahora el toque que vino para Rafinha se acomodó. Goal!
Rafinha has become a true beast. He's not just a goal scorer, he always shows up when it matters most. Lamine Yamal, the crown jewel. If Barcelona's present is spectacular, its future belongs to Lamine Yamal. At just 17 years old, the winger is the most electrifying young talent in world football. La Liga's youngest ever goal scorer for Barcelona, 17 assists and 12 goals this season. The player with the most successful dribbles in La Liga, 95, surpassing Mbappe, 61, and Vinicius, 60. Responsible for over 1/3 of Barcelona's total dribbles, 308, with a massive gap to the second best, Rafinha 40. Against Alaves, Lamine broke a Messi record in a single La Liga match, completing 11 dribbles in 21 attempts, a mark that even Leo himself never reached at such a young age. But beyond the stats, Lamine Yamal is football's newest masterpiece. His goal against Benfica belongs in a museum, a strike worthy of being displayed in the Museum of Fine Arts.
Este le quiere pegar al arco, vio, busca el angulazo. Gol!
It's no exaggeration. Lamine Yamal is football's cultural heritage. He is Messi's heir, a starter at 16, a superstar at 17, and already the best in the world. The scariest part, he's still developing. We've said it before on this channel. This Barcelona is ready to win absolutely everything. And this isn't just an empty statement or a baseless assumption. There are very strong reasons backing this possibility. The first thing needed to win is something that might seem obvious but is not always present in a professional team: the desire to win. Not just individually, but collectively. Football is a team sport, and the hunger for victory must be present in every player, in every match, in every minute on the pitch. That mentality is perfectly reflected in players like Gavi. Despite not having a starring role in every match, he makes the most of every opportunity Flick gives him to show his commitment to the team. From starting crucial games like the one against Athletic Club, where he scored a goal, to making an impact in limited minutes in high-intensity duels, like against Benfica, Gavi always delivers. But his ambition isn't just evident on the pitch, it's also in his words. In the end, we rotate a lot, and I feel involved. I still have a long way to go. This is the club of my life, and I'll be here as long as I can. A clear message of absolute commitment to the project. And more importantly, Gavi believes in this team. He made that clear in his own statement.
Aspiramos a todos los títulos, ¿no? Ya hemos ganado el único título que hemos luchado hasta ahora, que es la Supercopa, y todos los títulos que quedan tenemos que ir a ganarlos.
And if the players believe it, feel it, and express it, it's because they know they have a solid foundation to achieve it. The reasons behind the treble, history, and the present align. Barcelona has won the treble twice before, and both times the seasons were almost identical to this one, 2008-9 and 2014-15. In both cases, it was the first year of a new coach, Pep Guardiola in the first, and Luis Enrique in the second. In 2023-24, Hansi Flick is in his first season. That's no coincidence. Teams in their first year under a new coach with a revolutionary idea can define an era, and this Barcelona has all the ingredients to do just that. But there's no need to look at the past to dream of the treble. The proof is in the present, in undeniable facts. Football can be unpredictable, and everything can change in an instant, but one thing is certain: the best version of Barcelona is back. The reasons are all there, pay close attention. Barcelona in a prime position for the treble. Hansi Flick's Barcelona is not just dreaming of winning it all, they have built a solid path to make it a reality. They are in a privileged position in all 3 competitions, fully controlling their destiny in each of them. La Liga, a resurgence without scars. There was a moment in the season when doubts emerged. Unexpected defeats against Las Palmas and Leganés raised alarms and questioned the team's reliability. But what separates a champion team from the rest is not the absence of setbacks, but the ability to rise stronger. Barcelona learned from their mistakes and didn't repeat them. Against Alaves in a match with a similar context, the team responded with brutal competitive maturity. They reclaimed the top spot in La Liga and, more importantly, have remained at the summit despite having one game in hand due to the postponed match against Osasuna following the passing of Dr. Carlos Miñaro. With 13 matches remaining, Barcelona has a favourable schedule, with 7 games at home, including a decisive Clásico against Real Madrid. The difference this time, they have already shown what they are capable of doing to their eternal rival, a 0-4 demolition at the Bernabeu that left no doubt about who the most dominant team in the league is. Copa del Rey, a fierce battle in Madrid. While Barcelona has regained control in La Liga, their dominance extends to knockout competitions as well. In the first leg of the Copa del Rey semi-finals against Atletico Madrid, the Blaugranas were superior in gameplay, though the 4-4 final score means they will need to seal their qualification at the Metropolitano. If Barca maintains the level shown in key matches this season, reaching the final is more than possible. And if one thing has been clear during Flick's tenure, it's that when the team has a clear objective, they rarely let it slip away. Champions League, a clear path. The Champions League has always been the benchmark for Barcelona. Since their last triumph in 2015, the club has endured a tough European journey, with tragic nights in Paris, Turin, Rome and Anfield. But that history is now in the past. Eliminating Benfica in the round of 16 was a statement of power, and now the road to Munich looks more accessible than in previous seasons. With historic rivals like Liverpool already out of the equation after falling to PSG, Barcelona finds itself in an unbeatable position to dream of European glory. A project on the rise, Barcelona's new cycle. The feeling around the club is clear. Barcelona has completed its transition and has definitively closed the chapter of its recent European failures. Since that infamous 4-0 at Anfield in 2019, the club has been desperately trying to reclaim its place at the pinnacle of European football. Xavi laid the foundations for a competitive team, beginning the reconstruction, but it is Hansi Flick who is solidifying the definitive transformation. The ghosts of the past no longer haunt the team. Humiliating European knockouts are no longer their present reality.
Allá viene el centro, remate, gol, Manolas!
Now, Barca is a team that strikes fear into its opponents.
El fútbol español está cada vez más lindo. Hay equipos que obviamente compiten muy bien. Pensar que el Barcelona perdió 5 partidos y es el equipo que posiblemente mejor juega. Y que seguramente que de los 5 partidos que perdió no tendría que haber perdido ninguno de los 5. Pero bueno, fútbol.
Plays with intensity, is offensively dominant, and has a clear structure to control matches. The key to this resurgence lies in the squad, a perfect blend of youth and experience. Balde, Lamine Yamal, Cubarsí, Gavi and Fermín are the immediate future, players who grew up watching Barcelona struggle in Europe but are now leading its resurgence. Rafinha, Íñigo Martínez, Robert Lewandowski, Koundé and Dani Olmo represent established talent, the balance between quality and experience that provides stability to the team. This team is hungry, talented and has a coach who has proven he knows what it takes to win everything. Ultimately, Barcelona is back and their next challenge will prove it to the world. The best football in Europe has a new owner, Hansi Flick's Barcelona. Throughout the season, we've seen flashes of great football from various teams across the continent. Liverpool has shown its characteristic intensity.
Viene
PSG has had moments of brilliance with its offensive firepower, and even Atletico Madrid has surprised many with its ability to adapt. Real Madrid, in certain matches, has also demonstrated its competitive strength. But here's the key. None of them have been able to maintain such a high level as consistently as Hansi Flick's Barcelona. From the start of the season, this Barca came out firing on all cylinders, imposing their style of play and winning every match. As the months have passed and they moved beyond their brief slump in November, the team has evolved exponentially, elevating their performance and reflecting it on the scoreboard with crushing victories. Why is this happening? Because Hansi Flick's system is flowing more naturally with every match. What initially seemed like a tactical revolution is now a perfectly fine-tuned machine. The players no longer think, they simply execute. And that's evident in Pedri's best form since arriving at Barca, in Rafinha's brilliant season, in the defensive solidity of Cubarsí and Koundé, in Balde's attacking threat, and in the contributions of Ferran Torres and Fermín from the bench. Every piece fits perfectly in the footballing symphony designed by Flick. As we mentioned at the start of the video, the results speak for themselves. Barca has thrashed Real Madrid twice this season, dominated Bayern Munich, dismantled Villarreal and Sevilla, and made it clear that their attack is a lethal weapon against any opponent. A total football team, dominant in every aspect of the game. This Barcelona masters every offensive footballing metric. It is not a one-dimensional team reliant on a single form of attack. They can break down teams in multiple ways. Positional play, the ability to create danger through possession, quick passing, and breaking defensive lines. Transitional play, a team that doesn't need to monopolise possession to be lethal, as they can destroy defences with lightning-fast transitions. Pure verticality, when Flick decides, the team attacks with aggressive and precise movements that make them unstoppable.
Arranca Rafinha, se viene el primero, achica Neuer, gol!
But what truly sets them apart is their mentality. This team only looks forward to the opponent's goal. They don't speculate, they don't sit back unnecessarily, and they don't play with fear. They play with conviction, precision, and the belief that they can be superior to any rival. This season there is no debate. No one plays better football than Hansi Flick's Barcelona. No team in Europe scores more goals. If there's one objective reason that backs Barcelona's supremacy under Hansi Flick, it's their goal-scoring ability. No team in Europe has scored more goals than Barca. Their offensive power is not just a consequence of their playing style, but a tangible expression of their dominance in every phase of the game. With 32 goals in Europe, Barca leads the continent's goal-scoring charts, despite not having to play a playoff round, unlike some of their competitors in this statistic. And if we focus on La Liga, the dominance is even more overwhelming. 46 goals scored, 15 more than Real Madrid, who sits second in this category. But there's a key difference. Barca has one game in hand, the postponed match against Osasuna, an absolute demolition. However, the true secret to Barca's attacking success isn't just in the numbers, but in how the goals are shared across the team. This isn't a team that depends on one superstar to make the difference. It's a collective machine where everyone contributes. A collective attack. Everyone scores, everyone contributes. Flick's Barcelona isn't a team built around one primary goal scorer. Instead, it's an offensive unit where nearly every player has scored at least once. The versatility and commitment of its players in attack have transformed Barca into a goal-scoring machine, with contributions coming from all over the pitch. Robert Lewandowski, the attacking leader, remains the focal point in the box, with 34 goals in all competitions. Rafinha, in his best season in Europe, has scored 27 goals, proving he's much more than just a tricky winger. Lamine Yamal, at just 17 years old, has already scored 12 goals, solidifying himself as the future of the club. Ferran Torres has added 11 goals, a crucial asset when the team needs fresh legs off the bench. Dani Olmo, with 7 goals, has shown that his role extends beyond playmaking. Pedri and Fermin Lopez have each contributed 5 goals, further highlighting the team's attacking depth. What's even more impressive is that even defensive players have gotten on the score sheet. Casado and Kubasi have contributed with goals, proving that in this team, everyone plays a part in scoring. Flick's Barcelona, an offense that leads straight to titles. A team that scores more than anyone else, and does so collectively, has every tool needed to compete for all major trophies. Football history proves it. Teams that dominate offensively are the ones that lift trophies. Hansi Flick's Barcelona isn't just the most prolific team in Europe, it's also a team with an endless offensive formula, one where there isn't a single protagonist, but rather an entire squad capable of dismantling any opponent. And the scariest part? There are still many matches left to play, and this goal tally will only keep rising. Hansi Flick, the architect of a champion. Barcelona. Nothing we have witnessed this season in Hansi Flick's Barcelona would be possible without the impeccable management of the German coach. No great team exists without a great manager, and Flick has not only been the tactical mastermind behind this squad, but also the leader who has handled the locker room with intelligence and balance. From the moment he arrived, Flick did not try to erase Xavi Hernandez's work, but rather used it as a foundation to enhance all the positives and add his own footballing identity. His vision extends beyond the pitch. His philosophy has influenced the team in every aspect, shaping the way they understand football and even life itself. The result is clear. Every single player in the squad feels important, committed, and aligned with a shared goal. Flick has transformed this group of talented footballers into a true team in every sense of the word. A strong locker room and impeccable management. A significant part of the team's success comes from the harmony that has been built within the locker room. The balance between young prospects and experienced players has been one of the keys to this season, and Flick has been the architect behind this cohesion. But the real proof of his managerial ability lies not just in footballing matters, but in how he has handled difficult situations within the club. One clear example was the complicated registration process of Dani Olmo and Pau Victor. In a situation where media pressure could have created tension and negatively impacted the squad, Flick managed to shield the team from external noise and kept them focused on the competition. The squad not only emerged unscathed from that episode, but actually became even stronger, reinforcing the sense of unity within the team. A leader who understands football through humanity. One of Flick's most remarkable qualities is his ability to fulfill all the responsibilities of his role without losing sight of the human aspect. He's not just a top-level strategist, but also an expert in managing emotions, a leader who knows when to demand more and when to support his players. This Barca has intensity, quality, and a winning mentality. But above all, it has a leader who knows how to guide them to success. And that's why this Barcelona smells like a champion. Hansi Flick and squad management. A leader who makes the difference. The greatness of a coach is not only measured by their performance on the pitch, but also by their ability to manage the dressing room. A coach is not just responsible for tactics. They must also create an environment where every player understands their role, their responsibilities, and the importance of discipline. And in that regard, Hansi Flick is a master. If there was ever any doubt about his leadership skills, the case of Jules Koundé is definitive proof that the German coach knows when to be firm, when to communicate, and when to give a second chance. Koundé and Flick's lesson: clear rules, absolute respect. The first incident occurred before the match against Alaves when Koundé arrived late to the pre-match talk. Flick didn't hesitate. He sent him to the bench and started Hector Fort in his place. The issue happened again in the derby against Espanyol, raising concerns among the coaching staff. A one-time lapse can be an isolated event, but when it becomes a pattern, the message must be clear. However, the story didn't end there. When Koundé was late once again before the match against Rayo, Flick and his coaching staff made a crucial decision. Instead of impulsively punishing him, they waited a few days and then sat down to talk with him. They made him understand the seriousness of the issue, without turning it into a major conflict. Koundé's response: self-criticism and a change in mentality. Flick's approach had the desired effect. Koundé didn't make excuses or try to justify himself. Instead, he took full responsibility for what had happened. He apologised to the coaching staff and his teammates, showing a respectful and mature attitude. But most importantly, he committed to finding a solution. He asked the staff to help him manage his time better, explaining that it wasn't a disciplinary issue, but rather a matter of time perception. In other words, he was willing to change, but he also sought support to make it happen. That is the kind of squad Flick has built. A team where egos don't come before the collective, where every player understands that success is built on responsibility and commitment. A shift in mentality on the pitch, from frustrated centre-back to an unstoppable right-back. But Koundé's transformation didn't stop at discipline. His mentality on the field has also changed. When he signed for Barcelona, his goal was to become the best centre-back in the world. Xavi had promised him an unbeatable partnership with Araujo, but the team's needs forced him into the right-back role, and that transition wasn't easy. In the early months, Koundé felt frustrated, even considering leaving if he couldn't return to his natural position in central defence. However, under Flick's leadership, his perspective shifted. Today, Koundé no longer aspires to be the best centre-back in the world. Now he wants to be the best right-back in the world. The Frenchman has massively improved his performances, becoming one of the most complete fullbacks in Europe at the moment. His offensive numbers reflect this. 3 goals, 8 assists, a growing presence in both attack and defence. But most importantly, his mindset has evolved. Now he is focused on continuing his progress, solidifying himself as a top right-back and becoming a key player in Flick's Barcelona. Flick, the master of talent and ego management. If this story proves anything, it's that Flick is not just a coach who wins matches. He is a leader who knows how to manage an elite dressing room. It's not just about tactics, it's about knowing when to be firm and when to be flexible, and when to offer support. Today I have to say it, we owe Lamine Yamal an apology, because no matter how hard we try to avoid it, it's impossible not to compare him to Lionel Andrés Messi, and yes, that comparison is unfair. There is no greater burden in football than being compared to the greatest player of all time, especially when you're only 17 years old and have your entire career ahead of you. But the reality is that the football world can no longer avoid it. Lamine's left foot is a gem, a work of art that inevitably reminds us of Messi's. Just look at how he cuts inside, how he naturally shapes his body, and how he places the ball into the top corner with surgical precision. It's exactly what Messi used to do. Effortless, unforced, just pure talent, pure football. But it's not just the left foot, it's the story. Because just like Messi in his early days, Lamine also wears the number 19 on his back. Because he too burst onto the scene as a kid, putting on Champions League masterclasses, proving that talent knows no age, because the way he plays, his confidence and his instincts on the pitch force us to see something special, something unique. Lamine Yamal doesn't need to be anyone but himself. But here's the most important truth. Football doesn't need Lamine to be the next Messi, or the next Neymar, or the heir to anyone. Football needs Lamine Yamal to be the best version of himself. And if his destiny is to define an era, he will do it in his own way, with his own style, with his own talent, and with his own identity. Because Lamine Yamal is not here to fill a void, he is here to write his own story, and that story is only just beginning.